try to say that again?
Yes, sir. Your name is Paul Thompson. You the community liaison for Howard County?
I am not. My name is Paul Thompson. I am the Director of Constituent Services.
Oh, yes, sir. You're the perfect person to speak with. My question is, with all due respect, yes, sir. My question is, given the fact that there is a specifically Asian and Pacific Islander commission, as well as a specifically Latino commission, why isn't there any specific commissions for African American United States slave descendants?
I don't know.
Well, brother, respectfully, you knew that this existed before I called. You know that there's a Latino commission and an Asian commission. Why didn't you ask why your own ethnicity is not being granted a commission, even though we are taxpayers?
Oh, well, I think I've only been here for a month.
Respectfully,
So I'm brand new, just kind of getting myself in, just trying to get myself acclimated with the process and the system and what we have going on. And
all right.
I've only been here for a month, so
now, I know you have to get acclimated.
Just getting my feet wet.
Let me say this: I know that you have to be acclimated, but you also have to have urgency and take initiative on pertinent issues. So I'm asking, before you got hired in Howard County, you already know there is a specifically Asian liaison officer. There are
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
All right, well, these are the 3 bullet points. The first bullet point, Howard County must create a specific commission for African American United States slave descendants. That's the first bullet point.
Got you.
The second bullet point, please write this down. Write all these down. The second bullet point, just as there are several specifically Spanish-speaking liaison officers, and just as there are Asian and Pacific Islander liaison officers, Howard County Police must select and designate liaison officers specifically for African American United States slave descendants. That's the second bullet point. Liaison officers.
United States
Yes.
slave descendants.
Yes, sir. Liaison officers specifically for U.S. slave descendants.
Gotcha.
And the third bullet point, given the fact, and this is the last one because I don't want to take all your time up. Given the fact that Howard County is a consolidation of several former slave plantations, it is imperative that the Howard County government allocate land trust allotments to United States slave descendants.
All right, to United States slave
Descendants.
Got you.
And I promise, this is really the last one. I know I said 3. Let me just throw the
Sure.
fourth one in. Now, you might not be familiar with this, but there is an initiative in Howard County to change the name of the county because Howard County is named after a Caucasian slave owner named John Eager Howard. The initiative now is to change the name of the county from Howard County to Harriet Tubman County. Please write that down. Harriet Tubman County. And the reason that this is imperative is because the actual Harriet Tubman literally freed slaves from subjugation in this county. The Underground Railroad ran through this county, so we must commemorate our ancestor by naming this county Harriet Tubman County, Maryland. We must eradicate the name Howard County. It must be defunct.
Gotcha.
And listen, I'll call back repeatedly about this because every single bullet point I just gave you, I've said it personally directly to Calvin Ball myself, and I sent multiple emails about it, and he refuses to take initiative. Simultaneously, you're definitely using our tax revenue to build a Koreatown. Let's talk about it. You all are building a Koreatown on several former slave plantations where the actual Benjamin Banneker was enslaved. Really. Koreatown is being built on Benjamin Banneker's former slave plantation. Simultaneously, the African American freedmen's towns in this county, such as Jonestown, Guilford, Simpsonville, all of the African American communities in this county are being eradicated. There is not one majority African American community in this county anymore. So why are you all preserving? No, you're not even preserving. Why are you all empowering Koreans to build colonies in this county while simultaneously eradicating the African American United States slave descendant communities in the same exact county. Yes, sir. And I appreciate you getting on the phone because you sound like you are reasonable, really. So I'm going to call back about this tomorrow. It is imperative that you all take action. You all, well, look, let me just say this in closing because I took already over 6 minutes of your time. This is the last thing I'm going to say. When you go to the Howard County website and you look at the history, literally the Howard County official website omits the history of slavery in this county. You could read it for yourself. Not only that, there are multiple slave-owning families, such as the Dorseys, that have donated to Calvin Ball's campaign. This is documented. So you all have an obligation to redeem yourselves as African American United States slave descendants. But thanks again. I'll call you back tomorrow, brother. And just for the record, my name is Ade Salim.
Before you leave, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Could you give me your name one more time?
Yes, sir. My name is Ade Salim, and I'll spell it for you. That's
Thank you.
Yes, sir. A as in apple, D as in dog, E as in elephant, space Salim, SALIM. And listen, don't take no for an answer, really. When you go to Calvin Ball, don't take no for an answer because he did not tell the Koreans no when they decided to build a Koreatown in our community. So since there's a Koreatown in our community, why don't we have any African American towns in our community? Why don't we have Benjamin Banneker City in our community? Really?
That's a good one. So I have your things. But my pen was not working when you went to number one. Could you give me number one again?
Yes, number one is just as there is an Asian commission and a specifically Latino commission.
Yes, okay.
Yes, there must be a specific commission for U.S. slave descendants.
For U.S. slave descendants.
Yes, sir. Oh, and let me say that. Are you familiar with the with the MLK Commission?
Yes, I am. As a matter of fact,
I'm glad you are, because when I mentioned that there are no specific commissions for African Americans, the reflex of the Howard County government is to mention the MLK Commission. But when you research the MLK Commission, the board members are not exclusively African American. And when you look at the actual minutes of the meetings that they are not discussing exclusively African American issues. Matter of fact, they are establishing and they have established a rainbow coalition. So we cannot accept that as a specifically African American commission because it is not. When you look at the Latino Commission, all of the members are Latino. When you look at the Asian Commission, all of the members are Asian. Why don't we have a commission where all of the members are descendants of United States slaves? Really, that's it.
Yeah, I don't think the points that you're raising are crazy. You know, like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't think that what you're saying is. I think that what I'm trying to think is how I might be able to partner or support you in what it is that you're trying to do. So you have given me these 5 things.
Yes, sir.
And you're expecting for me to have answers for you by tomorrow.
Not
and
just
I just
you.
don't think that that's possible.
Let me say this, not just you. We, even me, I have to have an answer for you tomorrow about how we're going to implement this. But we have to work together on it. We cannot refuse to ignore, we cannot continue to ignore the issues that are plaguing our communities.
No, I get you, and I'm not trying to do that. But what I'm trying to say is that the wheels of the machine there's not much that I can do between now and 24 hours from now.
Well, let me say this, and look, let me say this. Don't
They're trying to figure out how I'm again reminding you. I've been here for 30 calendar
That's my
days.
point. Yeah. And you could be a hero.
How
Let me
I
say
be
this.
able to-
Let me say this. You will be a local hero amongst African American United States slave descendants if you stand up on this particular issue. Let me say this. We didn't tell the Asians that they have to wait for the democratic process, the wheels not turning fast enough. No, we literally gave them our tax revenue and we said, y'all can build a Koreatown. Literally. Matter of fact, not only that, we gave them our tax revenue. They are now building an Asian and Pacific Islander cultural center in this county. We did not tell them that the wheels not rolling fast enough. We gave them our tax revenue immediately. So
No,
just
it certainly wasn't immediately.
well,
and
it was
I don't
faster than it
think
happened for
what I'm
us.
saying is,
Hold on, let me say
I'm
this.
not- I'm
Let me
not
say
in
this.
opposition to you.
Let me ask. Yeah, you're right. We're on the same
I'm
page.
not on this call in opposition to you.
Of course, but let
I'm
me say
trying to
this. Let me say
figure
this. It happened faster to them than it happened for us, and they are not even
Right.
from here. So that's inexcusable.
I need. So I hear you, and I hear that, and not only do I hear you, I believe that I understand what it is that they're trying to do. But I'm trying to figure out you have this drive and this passion and this conviction to get this done, and I applaud and I appreciate that. What I'm trying to do is if see, because in order for us to do this, you and I both have to speak. We both have to be able to talk through this.
Yes, sir.
And find our way to the other side.
Yes, sir.
I am not in opposition to you. What I'm trying to figure out is, for me and my two hands, what role can I play in trying to bring any of this about? Because calling me and telling me this has to be done, and I'm gonna call you tomorrow.
Yes.
I don't know that it's gonna be able to happen like that.
Well, it
I
has.
think
Let me
that
say that. Let me give
if
one
you and
suggestion.
I
We can organize with. Let me tell
Hold
you.
on 1 second though.
We can
I'm trying
organize
to-
with more like-minded individuals, such as D. Boston. Her name is Denise Boston. Pardon me. Over there
Oh
in the
yeah,
office.
I'm very familiar with that.
All right, so you know Dr. Boston. You can also organize with what's his name over there, Todd. Last name Todd. He's an investigator in the Office of Human Rights. You can even call the African American Community Roundtable, and we can coalesce on these particular issues and make a change. But we cannot make. Let me just say this: we don't have the luxury to say that we're going to take our time. What would we tell our children when they grow up and they have to answer to an Asian elected official or a Latino elected official when the African American elected officials did not solve the problems in our own communities? If we won't solve our problems, you think that an Asian elected after Calvin Ball will solve them? You think a Latino elected after Calvin Ball will solve these issues? Of course not. So we have to do it now.
So I get what you're saying, and I want to, and again, I can't reiterate enough how much I'm trying to listen to you and hear you.
Yes, sir.
At the same time, you've called me. What is it? It's 11 o'clock in the morning, and I am trying to figure out how I can now, because take what you're saying, digest it, and try to figure out where we might be able to direct the energy here. Now, again, none of what you're saying is I hear you. I am trying to figure out because I think there's a way to get what it is that you're. I don't know the
Now,
system well enough.
you know the way. Let me just say this. The step one. Let me say this.
I get to talking. I'm
No,
trying to
but
get
brother,
us to
you
work
have the
together.
answer. The answer is to start drafting legislation today. Literally.
Well, sir, I don't draft legislation.
Brother, you can though. You have that right. Even me. Matter of fact, let me say I can email you legislation that I drafted myself, just so you can have a template.
Have you worked with the county council on this?
Definitely.
Or gone to your council member?
I'm glad you asked me that. My council member is Opal Jones. I call his office on a daily basis. Matter of fact, I call Opal Jones so much so that the county has literally blocked my telephone number from calling county council direct. This is a fact.
Really?
Matter of fact, Calvin Baller even to show you the email correspondence that we have had between each other. Literally, I even got arrested over this shit. I went to war against the police and I beat them in the streets and I beat them in court over this. Really.
Yeah, I'm not trying to have any altercations in the streets.
Listen, brother, I already did it, so you don't got to. It's all right. I went through it, so you don't have to go through that. So the first step, let's start drafting legislation. Really. We can speak tomorrow, but look, when we hang up, just think about it. I know you got to brainstorm. I gave you a lot of information. I'll call back tomorrow. Listen, I know that there must be a realistic time pace. I know that. So when I call you tomorrow, I'm not calling to harass you. I'm calling to see what progress that we made, because we can definitely make progress in 24 hours. Really. I ain't saying pass legislation in 24 hours. I'm saying we can make progress on these particular issues, at least by beginning to draft legislation and sending it to the county exec and the county council and the Office of Human Rights.
Okay. All right, that's fair.
But it was a pleasure speaking to you, and I apologize for all the times I cut you off. All right, brother?
Oh, no, it's all good, sir. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Stay blessed.